Ba-da-ba-ba. Hey, I'm Ches and welcome back to the Upload channel. In last week's video I explored the world of cryptocurrency and the blockchain and its overall possibilities in the landscape and architectural and design industry. And so by reading here and there I found a lot of information about what's called an NFT. So I couldn't really avoid not talking about it. So this is what I'll talk about in today's video. What NFTs are, how they're useful, and more importantly, as landscape architects or designers, how are NFTs important to our industry and how perhaps you as a designer can use that to be monetized or maybe just to help you understand the world of crypto. But before we dive into the actual concepts of NFTs, what do you think about this image? And what about this one? Or this one? So the first two pieces of this digital art I've shown, they're creations of the digital artist Beeple, the digital artist who sold the pieces for an absolutely ridiculous amount of money. The first piece is called Every Days, the first 5,000 days, and it was sold in an auction for $69.3 million. The second, called Crossroad, was sold at $6.6 million again. And the third one, which was tweeted by Elon Musk, when he first wanted to sell the NFT tweet he tweeted on Twitter as an NFT, but suddenly he got offered $1 million for it, but then refused to sell it. Flabbergasting, isn't it? Anyway, these are just a few of the crazy pieces of digital art that have been making the news and the headlines, and to be honest, perhaps that's exactly why they've made it to the news, because of the ridiculous amount of money that have gone sold for. But before I keep repeating NFT, so what are NFTs? The acronym NFT actually stands for non-fungible tokens, which can easily be compared with Bitcoins or Ethereum, which again, they're also tokens, part of the blockchain. Except there's a little difference there. So while Bitcoin and Ethereum actually represent digital asset with value that you can exchange for another of the same kind, pretty much like we do every day with pound coins or dollar notes. With non-fungible tokens, each token is unique. In principle, it's just as simple as that. So let's take, for example, Crossroad, which is the second piece I've shown you earlier. So the artist Beeple created that piece of art, a piece of digital art. He made a video or a GIF of it, then made it an NFT, uploaded it to an NFT marketplace like Nifty Gateway or OpenSea. And finally, here is then auctioned and sold in exchange for a cryptocurrency, which in this case is Ethereum. But the part in which I really struggled at the beginning, when a few months ago I started hearing about NFTs and I started doing a bit of research around them, is that really they are things that you can just download off of the internet, and maybe you want to save them. If they're good quality, you could send them to a printer and put them up on your wall if you really like them. But that's not how NFTs work. The digital art piece that you buy as an NFT not only includes, yes, a JPEG or a GIF or a video, but it also is a token that you can possess, you can trade, and it's unique. And that's what's so special about it. And so even if anybody really can see that same digital piece of art on a laptop or on a smartphone screen on the web, NFT art is agreed upon value and ownership, and so only a few select people can actually own that one particular piece. And that's because the ownership of that particular NFT that you buy is recorded and saved on the blockchain. I talked a little bit about what blockchain is in my last videos, so if you want to catch up on what a blockchain is, just make sure you watch my previous video. So when you buy an NFT, what we said is that you're recording that transaction on the blockchain, and in this case we're talking about the Ethereum blockchain. When you buy an NFT, this comes with a piece of digital art, which, like we said, it could be a JPEG or an MP4 or a GIF, the still of a tweet, or even music. This will basically also include not only that piece of art, but a smart contract, And actually that smart contract is recorded on the blockchain. And so now that proves that only you own it. So the next thing I want to talk about is pretty much how NFTs work. And hopefully we all kind of understand the concept of NFT and the relation to the blockchain. Now we've got to define how it actually works. How do you create an NFT? And yeah, I mean, it's really crazy to think about that a JPEG could cost that much money. But the process is really simple. It's create, mint, and trade or sell. And so the creative part of it comes in many ways. And you could be making a tweet, your own NFT. If you're a digital artist like Beeple, maybe you're creating graphic animated content like the MP4 I showed at the beginning of the video, like this one. And well, if you're an architect, landscape architect, or a designer, you probably already create many visuals, representations, animations. You maybe have a dusty old drive from your time at the university. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen crazy ideas, stunning things represented while I was back at the University of Greenwich. And all of that content that I or you have created, I think can definitely make it to the NFT crypto world. Basically, all of these digital goods can be bought and sold on websites like Nifty or OpenSea, like I said before. You've got Rarible and many others, really. And Nifty Gateway is that one platform that hosted the crazy auction of the piece by Beeple, the first one I've shown. And what these platforms allow artists to do is to mint their pieces of art into an NFT, assign the NFT to a digital piece of art, be it an MP4, be it a JPEG, if you're an architect, be it your beautiful architectural drawing. If you're a landscape architect, it could even be a planting plan or a planting palette, really. And then that NFT is then stored forever in that company's wallet or platform. And anyone who has access to the internet can just log on to that platform and see who owns that piece of art. I mean, it's so crazy. People have sold NBA highlights, people just shooting, dunking. Some of the most beautiful moments of basketball have actually gone sold for $213 million. It's insane. Music artists, for example, have released their albums as NFTs. The band Kings of Leon used the platform Yellow Heart. And these marketplaces are thought to be safer, especially due to their transparency. And so you could definitely imagine that these platforms in the future, they'll be able to allow artists to almost take much more power back into their own hands. So the non-fungible tokens world, I think, really opens up new opportunities for content creators like us, architects, landscape architects and designers. It just allows us to perhaps monetize on things that we otherwise wouldn't. If you're an architect or a design student or such, do you think you have some material that could really make it to the NFT marketplace? Would you sell your own art or visual or animation as an NFT, or would you just put it on Etsy, for example, and sell it, I don't know, as a postcard or something? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to find out exactly what other designers think about NFTs. But before you go and look for your old university drive to find your old material back from university, just bear in mind that NFT does come with a dark side. There is a number of ethical and environmental issues that you have to consider. In my last video, I've mentioned the extreme environmental impact that the blockchain energy consumption can cause. And so, as the NFT basically is based on the blockchain, it can also have the same environmental impact. The process of minting new NFTs means that more tokens are created and added to the blockchain. And so all of the transactions, the big auctions, trading, selling, etc., they all have a great impact on the energy consumption. NFTs are anchored to the Ethereum blockchain. And the Ethereum blockchain is based on the consensus model called proof of work, which is known to be extremely energy consuming. And so while the Ethereum company has pledged that they'll slowly transition into the consensus model called proof of stake, which is well known to be much less energy consuming, this has not actually happened yet. So it's only being talked about. But I guess it's important to know, because if you're going to make that decision of making some of your artwork an NFT, it's good to know, because at least you know that Ethereum is making a transition, and they've pledged to do it. So let's hope they do it soon. Deciding to sell your art and deciding to sell your art as an NFT may perhaps not be such an ethical decision, even if it's very easily monetizable. But at least you know that until the energy consumption moves into a more renewable energy system, much more solidly and rigorously, then that's when perhaps you'll be able to make an ethical decision. In my opinion, there are still ways in which you can make best use of NFTs. If you're selling some of your pieces, perhaps you want to donate some of the proceeds away to charities or for particular good causes. And while this doesn't actually remove the issue in the first place, it does contribute and addresses other issues. And therefore, as an artist, you'll decide what's best for you and which problem you want to address. For example, I could be turning some of my artwork from university into NFTs, hope that someone would buy it, hope that somebody would find it as interesting to pay for it, and then maybe what I could do then is decide to use all of the proceeds or half of the proceeds, or as much as I feel comfortable with, and maybe buy trees and plant them across the globe where they're needed, where perhaps reforestation is needed, or perhaps for carbon capture in general. And this is just an example. I'm sure you can be creative enough to find different ways to go about how you use your NFTs. So I've just touched on how, as a landscape architect or designer, I can make use of my graphic content and basically do whatever I want with it. But so what can you do as an architect, a design student, or simply someone who creates graphic content? Well, the creation, sale and trading of digital artwork has made the market of art and art collection a space no longer interested in the physical gallery space, but rather the digital one, like this one, which is pretty insane,
Hello, I'm founder and CEO of Some New Space. My name is Arthur, and we are inside our virtual reality persistent world, where the economy and the ownership of all the items is built on blockchain.
Someone went and created a digital space and exhibited all various pieces of digital artwork. It's actually pretty cool to use the virtual space and VR to exhibit pieces. And for many, this is not new at all. VR has been practiced for years, and especially in architecture and landscape. We would have probably used already VR in client meetings or client presentation, even public consultations. So I'm sure many will be extremely familiar with this. And to be honest, architects are probably the best ones to pretty much design and curate these kind of digital gallery spaces. I mean, at least if anything, that would be one of the many ways in which NFT can be integrated into the architecture and design world. The other cool thing about NFTs is its artistic evolution from a traditional rigid social structure, which was pretty much based on high class, art collectors, just high profiles. And now NFT based art basically opened many doors to creators and artists that would have never otherwise even dreamt of having their pieces considered getting to a gallery space. Clearly, the NFT discussion has prompted and functioned as a catalyst for a medium that was previously not considered at all for its potential and artistic credit. And so the question is, how can you actually speculate the integration of NFT into architecture and the design world? First of all, I found this NFT created by artist Krista Kim, who during the pandemic made what you see on the screen, which is basically a house, or at least a representation of it. And so the house isn't just a house, it contains pieces of furniture which one day she probably hopes she can sell in the real world. And this is, I suppose, one of the ways architects and designers can advertise themselves, or at least some of the pieces and things that they create, like Krista Kim and her furniture. And so what I mean is that you could be using NFT as publicity, not only just to sell a digital token. So like that, you could be reaching a completely different audience that you currently do. And so from Christus Kim's NFTs of the house, we can move on to another NFT by designer Anders Resinger. Basically, he created a set of virtual furniture with 10 pieces, which was minted on the platform Nifty Gateway, which I mentioned earlier. And basically all of that was sold at $450,000. So two things you can do with this piece. One, the three-dimensional objects can be used as digital assets for example, Minecraft or Second Life, but also come with the physical version of them. And although the designer is still working on completing them, but I still think that it's a super successful idea. So basically you're getting the house digitally, the furniture as digital 3D models, and eventually the furniture in your flat. So you can see how really nothing can stop you from putting your beautiful architectural visuals onto a NFT platform, and then hope that somebody finds it really interesting, buys it, and who knows how much for. You just have to try and find out. Many though don't see NFT art as a media that is related to architecture in any way, shape or form. Some actually argue that NFTs are just another way to participate in an already corrupt market, which is that of the art collection. But I would argue that this is just one way for younger designers at the very beginning of their career to monetize and try to step up, reach out an audience that they otherwise wouldn't reach. I think architects can definitely find new creative ways to get involved with the NFT world, be it a virtual walk through their new building or, like I said before, public consultations which already been used. New buildings exhibited for public to test out, augmented reality and so on. An American graphic designer called Key Ahrens created an NFT, and that NFT is a GIF, but that GIF represents his own house, physical house, in California. And so the NFT basically is being sold with the physical house, the NFT, digital art, physical property. Therefore, the buyer of the artwork will also receive the physical house that the artwork depicts. It's a super cool idea. I think it's actually the first time that an NFT is being used like that to sell a real property, a physical house. And although there have been no offers made for this particular house and its NFT, it has definitely attracted a whole lot of interest from potential buyers and non-buyers, especially the press. So if anything, because of the viral nature of NFT, this just opens up new trends in architecture, new ways to advertise people's assets, like a property, and basically function as a marketing stunt. For landscape architects instead, especially for very well-known ones like Piet Oudolf, plantsman for the planting design of James Corner's Highline in New York, people like him, because they have the reach, because they have the reputation, they could pretty much create a stunning planting palette, make it an NFT, and then include, along with the smart contract, pages and pages and pages of information, planting conditions, strategies of maintenance, things that they could then be sold for gardens and parks. It could be anything really, but I'm really curious to see how this plays out in the architecture and design world in the long run, especially if architects, landscape architects and designers actually embrace the idea of using NFTs. Only time will tell. For now, thanks so much for watching. If you have made use of your university work, stunning visuals, animations or anything like that and turned them into NFTs, please let me know in the comments. I would be super curious to hear your story. And while if you find the idea of architecture and design content as an NFT both simply crazy or stupid, well, by all means, just let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, just let me know. And to the next one, bye!